Do you guys remember the iPhone XR? Right, it was one of the most flamed iPhones, I guess, really ever. Well, actually, Apple sold about 77.4 million of these devices. And if you are looking to buy one right now, they are usually around $150 to maybe $250 at the most. And you can find them on eBay or Amazon Renewed, all kinds of third-party sellers. But this is a phone from 2018, a 6-year-old device, and I just want to talk about it. It is running iOS 18.0.1, and I just want to give my thoughts on really how it performs. Now, one of the first things you notice about this device is the screen brightness. Now, this is on max brightness right now, and as you can see, it's not that bright. And that's because this device really only reaches about 625 nits of max brightness. But brightness aside, if we take a look at the actual design of this phone, I mean, it's relatively sleek. It is still one of my favorite phone designs. It fits in the hand nicely. This is a 6.1-inch display, meaning it's relatively one-handable. We've got just one main camera at 12 megapixels, but for the most part, this phone has lived in a case, although in the time that it hasn't been in a case, there are a few little dings around the different edges and stuff, which is to be kind of expected. But it's all right for the most part. Now, if you're someone looking to buy this phone, I'm going to make the assumption that, you're probably looking for something a little bit cheaper or a little bit, easier on the wallet. And as a day-to-day driver, I mean, overall, it's a pretty solid device. Now, this is running iOS 18.0.1, which is the latest version as of the recording of this video. So far, it's been, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I am noticing stutters. Sometimes things won't work. I actually tried to get a Geekbench score for this device to show you guys, but the app kept crashing before I could ever get that final score. So it is definitely not perfect. Now, if I run into Roblox here and then just join it, for the most part, it's fine, right? It's got game mode enabled, which means it is throwing more of its power at the one game instead of doing background stuff. I mean, it's decently smooth, right? If we hop in a game right here, emergency response, this is going to be a game that is relatively taxing. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for this device to, well, actually handle. You'll see that actually for the most part, say if I tried driving this car here, and again, it is really difficult to see because of how dark it is, but I mean, it's okay. You can see definitely a little bit of lag as I'm sort of moving around here. Not the smoothest thing, and if you're buying this device, it's not necessarily going to be for the smoothness, right? The power. It's going to be something which works perfectly well as something that you can use to just make calls and text, and that be really, for the most part, it. Now, the screen is actually getting even harder to see, as just a little bit of gameplay is already causing it to dim. So this actually is not going to be very easy at all to actually record. But let's assume that of course, it is really just going to be used for maybe texting or calling. It does have a camera, so how does that function? Well, let's give it a try. Alright, so here's kind of a test of just the main camera on the iPhone XR. No external audio. This is just straight out of the microphones at 4K 30. And I mean, let me know what you guys think. I think it is fairly solid for the most part. You can see a bit of clouds, but also a bit of shadow at the same time. So dynamic range is all right, as well as autofocus is pretty solid. All right, so you guys just saw a little test there of basically the phone recording at 4K 30. So let me know what you guys thought, of course, in the comments. But if we take a couple photos. Well, you can tell they definitely do work, right? It's, of course, not anything like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, just lacking in types of software processing and stuff like that. However, if you are looking for something that will for sure get you just through the day and get you through some video calls, whatever you may need, this is definitely still a great camera for that. I did want to mention too, if you have forgotten, when you go into portrait mode, you actually have to have a face detected instead of just anything. Because of that singular camera, it doesn't have everything required to process, any object. So do keep that in mind. Now, as far as battery life is concerned, after 6 years, the health is at 84%. But keep in mind, the last 3 years, this phone has not been really used at all. But I would say overall, now I did charge this probably, let's see, an hour ago. So it is down to 76%, but that was running some updates and stuff like that. So I would expect it to be all right, nothing insane, but you know, nothing terrible at the same time. But if you're just kind of going through some basic stuff, like this is kind of Twitter performing right now, it's, you know, fairly smooth. Of course, this display is only 60 hertz. There is no promotion over here. I mean, it works, right? It's definitely something, it's not extravagant, as in, like, you will not be able to play crazy games with it. Photos are lacking in the processing a bit. But if you want a phone that's a good size that will last battery life throughout the day, that something is pretty solid at taking some light photos, maybe even taking some light videos. This is, well, definitely a phenomenal device. But hey, that's been it. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. I know there is some awesome stuff coming in the future, which I cannot wait to talk about. But hey, if you liked it, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye guys.